Thank you, Jo, for attending. Thank you, Kate, Sarah, and Pete. This is just a follow-up from our conversations and the emails that have been sent, and a discussion about the progress and what we do from here. So I am recording this session, and I'll make it public. But first of all, Jo, you were saying that Nigel is not available tonight and you're stepping in for him,
Yes.
which is fine. Thank you for that. But are you also saying there's no update at the moment from any updates from the Ash Parish Council?
Well, we've heard nothing from the Minister of Defence. I understand that Nigel got an acknowledgement when he sent the communication off, but obviously we haven't had anything further back. I'm hoping that they're doing a full review in response to Nigel's communication, but we'll just have to see what we get back from them in due course. How long it will take, of course, I really don't know.
What do we think is a reasonable length of time to give them before they give some sort of response?
Yeah, I think it's only been a couple of weeks now, hasn't it? But at least they acknowledged it.
Yeah, so my question is, how long is reasonable to wait?
Well, I don't know. I mean, having worked in a government department many years ago in a head office, I would suggest at least 3-4 weeks, but I don't know what their turnaround times are anymore.
Well, what I would say, Jo, is that on any freedom of information request, the standard acknowledgement time is 20 working days. So.
Yeah, so that's what, 4 weeks, isn't it?
20 days, actually. I don't know about the working day.
So, well, I'll just pass that on, and I'll see how Nigel feels about giving a prod. 20 working days, that would be another couple of weeks. When was the date of that letter? Can you remember? Oh,
well, the freedom of information is 20 days.
Sorry?
I said on the freedom of information is 20 days.
Was it 20 working days?
No, 20 days.
20 days. Okay, right. Well, I'll pass that on, and I'll see when Nigel wants to give them a nudge. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So when you mentioned about a review, Jo, is that just what you're hoping is happening?
Yeah, I'm just speculating. Don't take this as read.
Yeah, there hasn't. I mean, other than you say you had an acknowledgement. There hasn't, did it literally just say thank you for your letter? It didn't say we're investigating or we're carrying out a review or anything.
No, I mean the tone of the letter which Nigel sent, I think would have pushed towards somebody sitting down and having a re-look at the whole thing. But as I say, that's pure speculation. On my part, and so please don't take it as written in stone.
No, not at all. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
So I think we need to give them a little bit longer, but I think we need to be prepared for the fact that they are going to that nothing is going to be happening, and we are just going to be met with a thunderous silence, which is what we've come to expect, frankly. And so therefore we ought to start preparing now to decide what we're going to do when that deadline is passed. And perhaps if everybody else agrees, what we might ask the parish council to do is to write another letter, just as you say, Jo, to give them a prod and say, can we please hear from you by X date?
And I think that's
some kind of time frame on it.
Every time we've given them options to communicate with us, we've been strictly limiting. If we're waiting another month to hear from them, then again that's a month without access. That at the moment is a quagmire in quite honesty. That they're the only other option available to a lot of our residents. So we need to take that into account in any of these giving them time situations, in that we're not doing our the parishioners any justice by not applying any sort of pressure that we can. So we certainly need to understand what our next steps are, and I agree with you, Kate, that we should be doing that. We also need to understand what our other methods of escalating as such are, whether we can raise this at a borough or county level effectively, and what our options are in those, as our parish councillors. What would you advise to ensure that we do take into account the views of the rest of the parishioners, and trying to get this movement in such a way that it's a positive movement?
And I think what we're sort of keen to avoid is it's fair enough that they should be given adequate time to respond, but then they don't respond, then we plan another meeting in the diary, then we sort of wait another week for that meeting to happen, then we discuss our response, then we wait another couple of weeks for a letter to be written, and then as Carl said, that's still all time without access. So I think what would be really great from our perspective is if we can say, right, if nothing has happened on X date in February, then this letter will be sent on that date, so that we're ready and prepared and kind of on top of it. Because if we then wait 2-3 months effectively to chase them, that doesn't send a great message to them about how important it is to us either.
Yeah, I'll pass that on to Nigel and see what he comes back with. Yeah, I think if we don't hear from don't get anything back, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask, what's happening? When can we expect a response? Sorry, somebody was going to say something.
Has anybody actually got to hand the actual date that the letter was sent? Should have checked that before we started, really. If anybody's got it there.
Probably.
I've got so much paper. I've got it here somewhere. I've got a copy of the letter. When did it go? Oh, it's been made public today. So that was. And would agreed. Sorry, bear with me a second.
The statement was on the 26th. I think the email came out earlier than that.
I've got an email from Nigel dated the 26th, just basically circulating the letter.
I believe the letter went out on the 22nd.
22nd, okay.
Which is the Friday.
Yeah, that's right. I think you asked when it was going to be made public, didn't you, Carl?
Yeah, yeah. So the email I got from Nigel was effectively hang on.
Yeah, so the 22nd, where are we?
Yeah, the 22nd is the day that I've got.
Right, okay. So I believe that he got a fairly quick acknowledgement from MOD, but as I say, I haven't heard that anything further has happened. He hasn't indicated to me, and he's sure he would have done.
That'll be 4 weeks on the 19th of this month.
Yeah, so there'll be, the 19th. Okay, it's another couple of weeks, yeah.
Yes, but I think what we need to do is we need to prod them in the meantime. It's no good us just having a date in our minds by which time we think they ought to have had enough time to respond. My suggestion would be that the parish council writes to everybody that they've sent the original letter to 2 weeks from the date it was first sent, whatever that would be, and says, with that letter saying something along the lines of, referring to our letter of the 22nd, may we please hear from you by the 19th of February, failing which we will, you know, take other action or something along those lines. Because if we don't tell them that we are putting a time frame on it, there is no time frame on the original letter, then, you know, 4 weeks will come and go, and nothing will have happened.
Yeah. Okay, I take your point. As I say, I'll have to obviously run this past Nigel. It's not just it's not just down to me to say yes or no.
No, we understand that, and thank you for that.
But yeah, I take your point. Right, so I think we need to possibly we'll have to come back to you on that one.
So Jo,
yes, sorry.
When you're talking with Nigel, there is another aspect with bylaws review, and Nigel was promised by the MOD that he would be advised of when the bylaws consultation review was going to take place. There are rumours around that it could be taking place sometime this month. Nothing's been publicised, so I don't know if Nigel's heard about it.
No, the funny thing is, I mean, I'd heard that it was a possibility that it would go live in February. But I've been keeping my eye open, and absolutely zilch has come out.
And I think you'll probably find that we've got the same concerns about the bylaw review. If they're taking a month to respond to a letter, is that review going to be of any relevance? Is it a done deal? So we would have loved to have had responses and a concrete list of the costs before we went into that bylaw review, to be allowed to demonstrate that the public effects of opening the ranges will be more cost effective to the nation than the costs of closure. But at the moment we can't do that because we don't know what costs. There's no evidence of the costs or the lost training hours, any of those negatives to counteract. So it feels like we're going to get into that bylaw review in the same position as we've been all along, without any evidence.
I mean, the bylaws review, I mean, this should have happened, as far as I understand it, way back. But things have just taken longer because they're doing the whole of the MOD estate, not just our local area. Yeah.
I think they've been caught a little bit cold, actually, Jo. I think because I've got no doubt they hope they could have slipped the bylaws review in under a carpet without anyone noticing, because I think the closure of the Ash complex is intrinsic to the changes they're going to bring to the bylaws, and it's quite possible there will be other substantial areas that people enjoy at the moment that they would also want to restrict access to. And I think with the signs that they put up long after they closed the complex, which had a stick-on sign which said bylaws review apply, bylaws apply, and if that sticker came off, underneath it said keep out. So I think they were planning to have this done, and the bylaws would be changed to support the actions they've taken. And I think they've got themselves in quite a pickle now because they can't substantiate any of the reasons they've given for actually closing the ranges down. They look a total bunch of clowns, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think with the bylaws review, it's difficult. I mean, we were assured that once they were going to go public, that we, as a parish council, would be notified. And that is very much on the horizon. If it does become public and we haven't been notified, that will be yet another step. But as I say, I think we're all keeping our eyes open to see, and just have to wait on that one, I think.
Okay.
Thank you for your comments, Peter. I'll take your point.
So, okay. So what I intend to do is I'll set up a meeting for this time next week. Hopefully you'll have a time, Jo, to discuss with Nigel what our approach is. I have seen his email to us today. He doesn't think there's any think of merit to talk about. So I'll remind him of what we've just discussed as well. It is for us a matter of not waiting until the deadline has passed to think about the next action effectively, and we need to be very clear that we're giving as much credence to this to everyone that's concerned, that we're not going to just wait for a month before we take more action. And I still would like to know what your approach would be to escalate if the answer is negative or we don't get a response. And that's very much something that we should be discussing.
I think we need to give some thought to that.
Well, maybe we'll take it up in a week's time. I don't want to leave it much longer than that, because it would effectively do what we've said we don't want to do, which is wait for the outcome. So
yeah.
Sorry, Carl, you mentioned a deadline, but the deadline is only something that we've discussed between ourselves.
Totally.
There's nothing on the DIO's sort of radar to say that anything is going to happen. They don't give a hoot. We just have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. We can't just wait for them to decide whether or not they're going to do something, because they won't do anything.
It's all in the hands of the Minister's office. So we're dealing with his office staff, his civil servants, who will presumably be looking. I'm just assuming again that his office will be reviewing the situation. Again, I don't know. I'm just pure speculating.
And that's the problem, isn't it? We don't know anything at the moment, and we're just speculating and waiting. We need to plan what our next moves are.
Yeah.
As a group.
But we have been entitled to demand some form of update response from our MP, Mr. Gove, and that's something that can be generated through.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But hopefully that reminder, I will ask a reminder to be sent out. That will be the prompt that we need from our MP, because obviously we still would like a response. I know there is other more important matters, but we should be allowed to voice our concerns, especially if they want to put the review on the board, the bylaws review on the board in this period.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'll let you get back to your day and have an evening. Then I'll reschedule the call for early next week. I'll have a look at the diaries. I don't think there is anything. Is it when's the next council meeting? I think that's Monday, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, hang on. Let's bear with me a second. Next council meeting for Ash Parish Council is on Monday. Avoid Wednesday like the plague, please, because there's a budget council meeting at Guildford, so we'll all have to turn up for that. The borough councillors obviously have to turn up for that. So Monday, as I say, it's planning and full council for Ash Parish, and Wednesday it's a full council for Guildford Borough.
So I'll try and plan one for a week's time then on the
Tuesday seems to work quite well for most people. Yeah,
that'll be good. Okay. Thanks, Carl.
All right, thank you for your time, Jo.
I will be better by then.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody else, and I'll speak to you another time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye bye. Have a good evening, all.